Hello everybody, Caveman TCG comes to you with a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. Blue Eyes White Dragon, what can you say about it? But it's a iconic card, a fan favorite, Kaiba's main monster, and just a very big card that most Yu-Gi-Oh players would know just by the look of it, or even non-Yu-Gi-Oh players would know. But get into the deck. This deck just you want to spam out your blue eyes, get your big monsters out there, control the board, and just hit your opponent very hard with your multiple blue eyes or other blue eyes themed monsters. But this deck is a very casual deck. There's some cards you can't take out here to make competitive, but most of my decks I make here on this channel would be most casual. There's are going to be some decks where I try to play competitive, but this is just a very fun deck, a very nostalgic deck that I love to play for fun. And let's get into the deck profile and show you what I play. Now, if you guys have any other comments or any recommendations, put it in the comment section on what I should play, what I shouldn't play, and how to make this deck better. I'm still new to this game, or I'm still learning more, and still watching a lot of other videos and playing on YGO Pro, and just trying to learn it more. But yeah, let's get to the deck profile. I play 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. I like to stick to the Kaiba card. 3. I heard some decks playing 2, but there's fusions in here that would need 3, or yeah, there's fusions that need 3. There's also the alternative that can count as the other Blue Eyes card, but I just want to play 3. You you find ways where sometimes you're dumping them to the graveyard, but there's other cards that can recycle them back into the deck. So I can see why people are playing 2, but I just really love to play 3. But it's your main card. You're gonna use this for fusions, synchro plays. A lot of your spells and traps will revolve around it. So yeah, I play 3. Next, I play 2 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. I used to play this at 3. I know it's a lot of people now playing this at 1. You can't play it at 1. It's searchable. It's if you summon it once, you can resummon it back from the graveyard as long as you summon it properly. So it's very easy to summon back to the board. And 3 is bricky. You can clog up your hand. 2, you have your deck. It feels great, but you can run 1 of this card. Well, it has an effect where when you special summon him, you just gotta reveal 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. Then you can special summon him. I think you can only do that once per turn, and he has a once per turn effect where you can target 1 monster in the field and destroy it. But if you use that effect, you can't battle with him. It's a great card. Now to the one of the new cards that kind of made the deck a little more better. Dictator D. It's your Blue Eyes version of Magician Souls, your budget Magician Souls. Basically, he'll come out by especially summon him by sending 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to the graveyard or your hand to the graveyard, and you can special summon him to the board, which is a nice extender. To get another monster in the field or to use other effects that you have in your hand. But he has another effect where you can send 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from 1 card that mentions it, and then target 1 Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon him. This card makes dumping the Blue Eyes into your graveyard easier. Makes summoning certain other Blue Eyes from your graveyard back to the field, especially with the new Jet or Abyss Dragon. This card just makes it definitely better. This card is what Blue Eyes really needed. And now other cards like Verte Anaconda, you actually can turbo out other fusion monsters easier with him now. Maybe play 3 of him. You want to see him in your opening hand almost every time. Another must will be 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. When he's normal summon, you can add 1 level 1 light tuner monster from your deck to your hand. So sometimes you could be searching out Effect Veiler with him, or your other level 1 tuners, Ancient Stone, the Dragon Tuner monsters. I forget their name. But yeah, he's also your main combo starter. If you have Dictator D on the field, you can send Dictator D to the graveyard with his second effect, and then you can special summon one Blue Eyes monsters from your deck. You know, so another card you want to see out there as much as possible, especially if you can search your effect Veiler to have a negate on your opponent's turn. I play two the White Stones of the Ancients. This is the other card I was telling that you can put to your hand with Sage of the Eyes of Blue. Basically, with this card, if it's in your graveyard at the end of the turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes card, one Blue Eyes monster from your deck to the field. That could be Abyss Dragon, that can be Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, that can be a Spirit Dragon of White because his name's always considered Blue Eyes, or even just a regular Blue Eyes, a White Dragon monster from your deck to the field. And has a second effect where you barely use it sometimes, where you can banish it from your graveyard to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. Also a tuner, so we can go into our synchro plays. Another one of our tuners, the White Stone of Ancient. Usually I send this one from the graveyard with a Dragon Shine, or another magic card I forgot. Dragon Melody. You can send this too, but when it's dumped to the graveyard or sent to the graveyard, you can just add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So you know it can help you bring out your Blue Eyes to your hands. Also a tuner, so you can use for your synchro plays. Play the one Dragon Spirit of White. This card's name's it's always basically Blue Eyes. It's always a Blue Eyes card, no matter where it's at in the deck, your hand, your graveyard, banished. It's always treated as a Blue Eyes card. So with you can summon him from your deck with the White Stones of Ancient, and so when he's summoned back, you can actually banish one spell or trap card on their field. So anything that's causing you trouble, skill drain, or any other Eldritch cards or some of Prank Kids cards, you can just banish them out. And he has another effect too, where if you can tribute him, I think if your opponent has a monster, you tribute him, and then you can summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. But most likely, you just want to summon him from your graveyard to the field to banish their spells and traps in the field. The cards that are gonna be a pest and just annoy you. Play the one Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is one of the newer cards that came from Battle of Chaos. It's a real nice card to have too. The art is just amazing. But all the cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And he has a clause where if something is destroyed by a battle or card, battle, right? Yeah, if it's destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or your hand. And if a card battles with this card, is it this card or any card? Yeah, if this card battles, you can basically target one card. You target one card your opponent controls and return it to your hand. So basically, if they try to attack it, you can bounce a monster back from that attacked you from their hand, or is it only monster target? Yeah, it's any card your opponent controls, so it won't have to be the monster attacking you. So he's gonna protect your cards from being destroyed by your opponent's card effects, the other card. So they'll have to target him. And if he's in a graveyard or your hand and something else destroys, so if you have a alternative Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, you destroy something, you can bring him to the field, and now your other cards are protected. And if someone tries to battle him, you can just bounce that monster right back to the hand. This card's always being reoccurred too, because something's always being destroyed. And this, you have multiple ways to destroying cards. So this card's basically always on the field every other turn. Play the one Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Oh, that was badly centered. This card is last time I checked it was up in price. It was like maybe $40 to $50, I believe. But this is another card that we'll try to get off our Ancient Stone, or our what I could do is summon him when I have what's that card's name? Sage with the Eyes of Blue, and I have another card in the field, I can just tribute off the monster on the field with Sage Eyes of Blue and just summon this one directly to the field. And when he's normal summon, no, when he's special summon, you can get a ritual spell card or polymerization from your deck to your hand. And during the end phase, if he's on your board, you can basically add one level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. I believe those two effects, you have to have a blue eyes white dragon in your field or your graveyard to activate them. There's another effect too where you can banish them off your graveyard and every so every monster. Yeah, all level 8 or higher dragon monster control gain 1,000 attack, so he can push up for game. But yeah, you don't want to see too much. One's good enough. All you want to do is basically search out your polymerization or your chaos max with this card. Polymerization will help you get into your fusion plays, and if you did have the chaos max dragon in your hand, you search out the chaos max. Speaking of him, we play the one blue eyes chaos max in here. You know, your opponent can't target this card with card effects, and he cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And if he attacks a monster in defense, you double the penetration, double piercing damage. You know, with you can easily get the Chaos Max card with Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, and you can easily search him with the Melody card. And you don't even have to use ritual tributes from your hand. You can banish the Blue Eyes from the graveyard. So you know it's a good card to have another boss monster, another beefy monster on the floor on the board, who that can't easily be destroyed, and your opponent has to attack over them or kaiju this monster to get rid of it. Now I play the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. There's a lot of times where we will get darks and lights on the board to pop to destroy 2 cards on the field, or a lot of times you'll just banish the 3 lights and just reborn another monster. A lot of times you reborn your alternative or your abyss dragon, or your spirit of white, just in case there's a spell or trap on the floor. But yeah, you know this card also be taken out. I had to play because you know it works well with the deck. You know, and another pop or destruction. Sometimes you need it. The extra destruction can bring back a Jet Dragon into your board. So if you have that in your graveyard, bring this card out, destroy 2 monsters, summon the Jet Dragon back to your field. And when you do banish cards, so like if you banished your Blue Eyes monster to summon this out, we do play the Chaos Dragon and Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. Now, when you Pendulum summon him, or not Pendulum, but you put him in the Pendulum scale, you pay 1,000 life points, and you can target one of those banished monsters that you, the Dragon monster that you had. So if you did banish Blue Eyes from your graveyard for Chaos Max, you can just bring that Blue Eyes right back to your hand. But you know, you pay 1,000 life points, and then you pop this card, and then you bring that Blue Eyes back to your hand. When he's destroyed, he doesn't go to the graveyard. I believe he goes into your extra deck face up. Then from your extra deck face up, you can basically banish 1 light and 1 dark and summon him to the extra monster zone. You know, then he has the your regular chaos effect where if you pay 1,000 life points, or not pay half your life points, send as many cards as you control as possible to the graveyard, except in the extra monster zone, so he protects himself. If you do send cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of cards sent to the graveyard, then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card sent to the graveyard. This card, by this card, perfect. And if this card special summon leaves the field, you return it to the bottom of your deck. So, you know, you can basically burn for game, bring back one of your, and mostly you can just bring back the banished Blue Eyes to my hand. And we play the 1 Effect Veiler. The 1 Effect Veiler you're gonna get with once you summon the Sage of the Eyes of Blue, you can bring him to your hand, and for the next turn you'll have a negate. Now to the spells. Play the 1 Vision with the eyes of blue. Activating this card, you reveal Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then you can special summon one monster from your hand. Um, Also, once per turn, if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your no, you return rather a Blue Eyes White Dragon or another monster, and you can special the Blue Eyes or another monster that has that in his name. You return that face up monster to the hand. Then you apply based on the original's name card. So if you have a Blue Eyes monster, you special summon one monster from your hand. If any other monster, you special Blue Eyes monster from your hand. This card, I played it because I want to play because it's like one of the brand new cards, but I barely go into this card. Another card you probably take out and replace it with any hand trap, Ash Blossom, Call by the Grave. You know, it's there. When it comes up, it comes up. But to me, right now, it feels like it's a win more card because if you're using this card and you're basically there already. Play 2 of the Ultimate Fusion. You know, it's it's about time Blue Eyes got a fusion card. Red Eyes had one. Dark Magician had one. So it's about time that Blue Eyes had one, and it's a quick play spell too, nor that. So this is the card I was telling you about that you're going to basically recycle your Blue Eyes cards or your Blue Eyes alternative dragon back to your deck from the graveyard, because the fusion summon with this card, you have to shuffle the fusion materials back into the deck, whether it's from your hand, your field, or your graveyard. And if you do that, you can destroy face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Blue Eyes White Dragons and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons on the field for material. So if you did shuffle back monsters from your graveyard, you can't pop cards. But if you do have like one card on the field and you brought out Blue Eyes Ultimate alternative Ultimate Dragon, you basically will have 4 pops on the field, because the Ultimate Fusion, if you have one card in the field, then alternative can also pop 3. So that's a lot of card destruction, and then the destruction happening if you had Jet in your graveyard, and bam, Jet goes back to the field. Then you can. It also can be considered interruption, because it's a quick play spell, and you can play it on your opponent's turn, and you can just interrupt them, destroy their back row with the cards, because they can't activate traps turn 1. They set it down, so it's a very good card. I like it. I think playing 2 is great. Playing 3 is just a little too much. Sometimes you won't get into the 3. And it's possible, but I think it's sometimes even harder to get into the second Ultimate Fusion. It does occur, but I think 2 is the right number for this deck. I play 2 Bingo Machine Go. It's a nice card to search out your Blue Eyes if you don't have it. I was playing this at 3, but I don't see a need to play this at 3 no more. You have a lot of cards that can search out your other cards. We don't run as much Blue Eyes and spells and traps that list them. So the cards that we can search are just Blue Eyes monsters or an alternative. And the Spirit Dragon. So, and you want to see the other cards more too. So this card just is becoming less desirable to have in your hand. But we still play that too to search our Blue Eyes in case we don't pull it when we have alternative in our hand. And one of the main spell cards, you play Melody of the Awakened Dragon. The Melody of the Awakened Dragons, you're basically going to be your main searcher. I believe this card will search almost every dragon in this deck besides Spirit and Abyss Dragon. And of course your tuners too, because I believe they have 2,500 attack. So this card needs to search out monsters at 3,000 attack or more, or 25 and 2,500 or less defense. So your Chaos cards, Chaos Lavinian Dragon, can be searched out. You can search out Emperor Dragon. You can search out, of course, Blue Eyes, Alternative, Jet Dragon. So this card can basically does what Bingo Machine card does better. So that's why we played that one at 2 and this one at 3. Plus, this card can come up, especially if you're discarding the white stone. Okay. Yeah, and the white stone of legend. All right. After that, play the one dragon shrine. Dump out cards like Blue Eyes. Then you can dump out a Jet Dragon. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this one too, but Jet Dragon's effects like Abyss, where you kind of have to have Blue Eyes in your graveyard to to activate. So a lot of times you'll dump out the Blue Eyes, get the extra effect to dump out another card and dump out the Jet, so that when you go into other plays or you're starting to destroy cards, you can start bringing back the Jet Dragon. A lot of times too, you can dump out the stone, the Blue Eyes and the stone to bring back the Blue Eyes to your hand, or the other one to summon a card off at the end of the turn. We play 2 Return of the Dragon Lords. It targets one your Blue Eyes cards, a level 7 or 8 monster, a level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard. And special summon some. So if you have your Spirit Dragon, you can bring him back, banish a spell. You can bring back almost any other one. I think besides a Living Near. I think a Living Near has to be summoned first properly. You can bring back your alternative if he's normally summoned. Then you can go back to destroying cards. Then again, if Jet Dragon's in there, Jet Dragon's just so recurable. And if you do have Jet Dragon or a monster you want to protect on your board as a dragon, when that card or cards, because if they hit you with a Regeki or a Dark Hole, then it's all happening at one time, you can banish this card from your graveyard and protect all of them or the monster that's being destroyed. So it gives your monster some protection. You play the 2 trade-ins. So sometimes it's possible where you just have so many level 8 monsters in your hand because of all the dragons, and this allows you to discard the 1 level 8 dragon or just monster and draw 2 cards. So now it fixes up your graveyard too. So if you did have Jet in your hand, you can just trade in Jet, draw 2, and Jet's it's good in the graveyard. So play the 1 Poly and the 1 Chaos form. These cards are going to be searchable with Abyss Dragon. If you have a better play to go with your Poly, you pick your Poly out. If you do have your Chaos Max Dragon in your hand, you want to show your Chaos form. Like I said, Chaos form. You don't have to tribute from the field or your hand. You can if you want to, but if you have a Blue Eyes in your graveyard, you can banish that as cost. And I played the 3 Perry Rest map. This is your searcher for your Sage with the Eyes of Blue, because I say you want to see the card 2 as much as possible. It's one of your main starters. This card you have to play at the start of your main phase. It can't be the second card you play. It has to be the first. By paying half your life points, you get to search a monster with 0 attack, and Sage of the Eyes of Blue has 0 attack. You can't use the hand effect if you search out a Sage Eyes of Blue. If you have 2 in your hand and you search one out, then as long as you normal summon one of them, that clears it up, and now you can activate both if you had 1 in your hand and 1 in the field. So as long as you normal summon the monster, you can gain that monster's effects. Now to the traps. We play True Light. True Light's basically the tablet for Dark Magician, the Eternal Souls. You can basically, your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragons in your monster zone with card effects. If this card is on your field, as sent to the graveyard, you have to destroy all your monsters. But if you had Return of the Dragon Lord, you can basically protect your monsters from being destroyed. And if it did happen, you destroyed your monsters, your Jet Dragon can activate and come back to the board. But this card helps you special summon your Blue Eyes from your graveyard or your hand every turn. Or if you didn't want to search the Blue Eyes cards, you can actually set a spell and trap from your deck that lists Blue Eyes White Dragon. So any trap card like the Ultimate Creature Destruction, or anything else, but I don't play nothing much. The only thing I play is the Ultimate Creature Destruction. So usually, if I did have that, I can search the trap out. But you also can set spells and traps, or the spells with it also. So any of the spells that have blue eyes, you can set. You play the Ultimate Creature Destruction. You target one of your blue eyes monster. It doesn't have to be blue eyes white dragon. It could be any of the blue eyes. Now that face-up monster is unaffected by card effects, except its own. It can't be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponents can't. Yeah, it's unaffected by card effects. It can't be destroyed by battle. Any monster that battles this card is destroyed at the end of the damage step. And if you normal summon or special summon a blue eyes monster while this card's in your graveyard, you can set it from your graveyard back to the field. But if you use it again and goes to your graveyard, it's banished instead. I play the two skill drains. A lot of times, if you have big monsters on the board, it's hard to get over them. And if you got your field set already, why not skill drain, turn off all the effects, and just punch them in the face with big monsters. Go unga boonga it, play it old Yu-Gi-Oh style. But you pay 1,000 life points and you just basically say no to any card effects on the board. You do have to watch out that any card that tributes themselves that are on the field that for cost that hit the graveyard still activate. I learned that one recently. And last but not least, I play the one Torrential Tribute. Usually trap card. We have a monster here that's unaffected by trap cards. So, if their board's getting too big, we just say, what? We don't like this, and we destroyed the whole field. And hopefully you have that monster on the board so he can stay. Alright, now I get to the extra deck. Here's the monster I was talking about. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. He's unaffected by trap cards. All you need for him is one Blue Eyes White Dragon and one Dragon Monster. You can tribute him by tributing a monster with a trap card equipped to it, but we would never do that. That's in a whole different deck. Like I said, he's unaffected by trap cards. This card can attack all your monsters you control at once. And once per turn, at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can target one trap in your graveyard and set it back to the field. It's not hard once per turn. It's a soft once per turn. So if you do have two of them, I believe you can use both of them to set cards. So another tribute, or if they destroyed your skill drain, you can bring that back, or your Ultimate Creature Destruction. I play the two Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. And once this card goes to the board, if you use the one card that's originally named was alternative, he can destroy up to 3 cards on your board. It doesn't have to be monsters, just cards. If you use all Blue Eyes, he can only destroy one. Your opponent cannot target this card or destroy this card with card effects either. So a lot of times you can basically control their board, destroy their monsters, destroy their back row. But if you do use that effect, you can't attack this turn. And if I'm not summoning Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon, I'm summoning Blue Eyes, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This card's I like it. He's a big monster. He can attack up to multiple times. If he's only fusion monster, he's the only monster in your field, and he's the only fusion monster, and you can attack. And at the end of the damage step, when you do attack, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and he can attack again. So usually, if I do summon him, I like to summon the other Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon from my extra deck to the graveyard, because he has a graveyard effect. If they try to target one of your Blue Eyes monsters, you can banish him from the graveyard and negate that card effect. Then if you do send one card from your extra deck to the graveyard, he can attack again, and you can use that effect up to twice. So if game is there, he can potentially attack the 3 times. Play the one Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. You don't need to use Poly with him. If you have 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your graveyard, tribute them off, summon him out, and when he attacks a monster, well, he can't be destroyed by battle, and he can attack twice. And if he attacks a monster and that monster stays, is not destroyed by battle, you can just banish him instead. So it's a nice card to come up, especially if you don't have the Blue Eyes cards or the fusion cards in your hand. So yeah, it comes in handy. Play the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. You know, we do have the tuners in here, so we can go into this. If your opponent tries to activate a card in their graveyard, you can banish. You can banish. You can negate it, and your opponent can only both players can only special summon up to 2 times, and he can tribute himself off on the field to basically synchro summon this card. And when he's summoned, so Blue Eye Spirit Dragon actually has an effect where you do that, you destroy the card, but he has a clause where at the end of the turn, no dragon monsters can't be destroyed. And once per turn, he can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon him. I play one Predator Planet Anaconda because we do have polymerization, we do have the Ultimate Fusion, and since that's on there, we can basically set up 2 monsters, your Dictator D or your Sage the Eyes of Blue, and bam. Hopefully you have you always since with Dictator D you're sending the Blue Eyes cards to your graveyard, and then another card too. Hopefully you have another dragon in there. You can basically summon out your Tyrant Dragon with this card faster. But yeah, since we have it, why not? We'll play until it gets banned. And I have the Dragublian package in here. This card here I just have just to always equip to Hope Harbinger. Basically summon him out, use his effect detach 1, summon him, attach this one together here. Now you have a an automatic spell card negate. I do want to take these 3 cards out to add Hockey Fibrex, Synchron Formula, or Formula Synchron, and Burn the Fleur. I think that one's much better to work on this deck. But, you know, right now I don't have those cards, so these will have to do. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. This is Caveman TCG, and I'll see you